Claudia's crazy Aunt Peaches is now crazy pregnant. She faxes the family a picture of the baby sonogram. I wonder if they have a separate fax line, or if they use Claudia's phone line for faxes. Is that the real reason Claudia has her own phone line?
Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review.
This book was written by Peter Larangis. Claudia shows the sonogram to her friends, who think it's great. Jessie dances with it because she's Jessie. Logan doesn't recognize it because he's a boy. No one mentions that it's super weird for Peaches to have her first sonogram at the very end of her pregnancy. Normally, you get a sonogram in the first 6 to 9 weeks. Maybe she misread weeks as months, I don't know. Peaches goes into labor during a Babysitters Club meeting. Claudia freaks out because she wants to go to the hospital right away, but none of her family members are home. Why not? Do they normally leave 7 middle schoolers alone in their house? When Claudia's parents come back, they rush to the hospital. Uncle Russ is wearing full scrubs, like he's personally going to deliver the baby himself. Everyone waits for 5 hours, and the baby is born around 10:30 p.m. The Kishis are told they can't see the baby because it's too late. Too late? The baby is 5 minutes old! How does she already have a strict bedtime? Seriously though, it is a jerk move on the Benedicts' part to let the Kishis wait for 5 full hours only to send them away without seeing the baby. To make things worse, they named the baby Lynn after Claudia's rarely seen middle name. So they think Claudia is good enough to have a namesake, just not good enough to see the baby. Claudia returns to the hospital after school the next day. Now Russ is wearing a full apron, like he's about to mop the floor. Lynn smiles for the first time when Claudia holds her, and they ask Claudia to be the baby's godmother. It's a sweet scene. I can't help but feel they should have asked Claudia before naming the baby after her. That's a lot of pressure to dump on a kid who doesn't know how to spell the word like. In the subplot, the Arnold twins watch a scary movie, and they become scared of everything, until they watch a show that demonstrates how special effects are made. The twins think it's so cool, they decide to film their own scary movie with Christy. Now that we're about halfway through the book, it's time for the main storyline to appear. Claudia and her relatives welcome Peaches back home from the hospital. Claudia quickly goes from helpful to super annoying. She overstays her welcome, hogs the baby, and lectures everyone about the proper way to handle newborns. It's like she turned into Janine without knowing it.
I thought Peaches had to double up the cloth diaper for longer use. I also gave her a few points on feeding technique.
In her eagerness to help, Claudia accidentally makes some mistakes. For example, she destroys the coffee machine. That is such a terrible tragedy, they should revoke her godmother privileges. Peaches and Russ become badly sleep-deprived as they make the mistake of thinking newborns can sleep through the entire night. That's not even kind of possible. Peaches, you should try sleeping whenever the baby sleeps. It's much easier. Weird schedule, but at least you get some sleep. Peaches and Russ get into a fight, and Claudia doesn't take the hint when Peaches complains about too many visitors. The next day, Claudia accidentally wakes up the baby and upsets her with a game she dislikes. Peaches snaps and yells that Claudia doesn't know everything. Her family already has a routine, and the last thing they need is a 13-year-old forcing herself into their lives and screwing things up every day. Claudia realizes she overstepped her boundaries, and haha, just kidding. Claudia complains because Aunt Peaches was mean to her. How dare she treat Claudia like a nuisance? She should be grateful Claudia broke her coffee machine. Well, okay, Claudia doesn't say that, but she does yell at Peaches and slams the door in her face. Claudia cries a lot after that because her family hates her and they'll probably never let her see baby Lynn ever again. Claudia's history class takes a weekend trip to Philadelphia. A girl named Melissa thinks Claudia is the coolest, so she tries to hang out with Claudia all the time. Claudia thinks it's super annoying and wishes Melissa would go away. Melissa kinda confused me. Half the time, she was an annoying fangirl. Other times, she's a normal friend, and I didn't understand why Claudia hates her so much. Like at one point, Claudia gets mad because Melissa laughs at Claudia's joke about out-of-towners. What's so bad about somebody liking your jokes? They go on various tours. Claudia wants to see an art museum that's 4 blocks away. Melissa convinces her to sneak away from the adults so they can see it. Sadly, the girls lose track of time, and they get lost when Melissa tries to take a shortcut back to the adults. Claudia yells at Melissa for being an annoying pest, and Melissa cries. Gee, does that sound familiar to you? Thanks to helpful strangers, the girls are reunited with their tour group. They get no punishment besides a half-hearted lecture on responsibility. I thought the school would at least call their parents. Claudia laughs off the misadventure with Abby and Stacy. At midnight, they sneak out of the hotel to go to a nearby coffee shop. So Claudia clearly did not learn her lesson about running away. On the trip home, Melissa apologizes for bothering Claudia. She was just trying to help. Claudia realizes this is a mirrored storyline. Melissa unintentionally bothered Claudia in the exact same way Claudia unintentionally bothered Peaches. Claudia apologizes to Peaches, and they become best friends again. Claudia officially becomes Lynn's godmother at a baptism which is mostly skipped over. I find it a little odd that we had a whole book for Abby's bat mitzvah, but the baptism is only 2 sentences. The end. Post-book follow-up. A third of this book takes place in a historic city. I think that setup worked better in book 64 because the main plot continued when they were in Boston. In this book, the main plot with Peaches comes to a complete stop when the Philadelphia stuff comes up. The story literally can't continue because Peaches and Claudia are in different states. The first third of the book was also rather irrelevant to the main story with Peaches. Don't get me wrong, these parts were interesting. I liked reading them. But after 5 chapters of no baby and a book with baby in the title, I was starting to wonder when the main story would appear. Like book 85, written by the same author, I found the narration to be slightly off-putting because it doesn't fit Claudia. I recently reread the first 2 Claudia books, and this does not feel like the same narrator at all. Although the narration is entertaining, it's out of character for Claudia to revel in clever wordplay and high-energy hijinks. Abby! That is Abby's narration style, not Claudia's. The main complaint against this book is that Claudia is annoying and childish, to the point where she annoys readers just as much as Aunt Peaches. I agree, I thought it was annoying, but I didn't think it was that bad. Overall, it's an okay book. I'd say it's a little below average because Claudia was annoying, the storyline was incredibly formulaic, and the subplot with the Arnolds had nothing to do with anything. But hey, the book's got a cute baby in it. I give Babysitter's Club number 97, Claudia and the World's Cutest Baby, a 4 out of 10.